Hey guys, welcome back to New York Comic Con. We're here at Newsarama. I'm Justin Tyler.
I am Pete LePage.
We're talking to Mr. SPURRIER.
Hello.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. Really appreciate
Always my pleasure.
So first, let's kick it off with Crossed. Wish you were here.
Yeah. So last time we spoke, just about to start, I recall. It's a webcomic in its first form, runs every week. So it depends how you look at it. It's either 12 free pages every week, as seen on the web, or when it's now collected. The first arc has been collected, so it's each 12-page episode that you see on the web is actually 6 pages of print. Right. We'll probably waffle about that later, the way that it's all sort of arranged and everything. But it's a continuation of Garth Ennis's and Jason Burrows' Crossed universe, and then Dave Lapham did some, David Hine did some, other people whose names escape me at the moment. But yeah, we just decided we'd do this webcomic to sit in the same universe. Because Warren Ellis did Freak Angels before that, and it was remarkably successful. The idea that you give people the opportunity to see something for free, and then when it's collected, they go out and buy it anyway. And sort of people have been really loyal, and it's done very well.
That's really exciting.
Awesome.
Last time you were here, you sort of kicked off the series with a very provocative.
I know you're trying to lead me back to that.
I'm not trying to loop you back in, but that was definitely the focal point of our last video. So I wanted to say, what's your next sort of sacred cow? You took down the dolphin.
Well, there was an exploding cow as well in the same story. There's an I think it's like episode 3 of the webcomic.
So you hate animals, basically?
No, it's just. Okay, without getting too wanky, you know I love getting wanky. But
I know. So we're calling this section "Getting Wanky with Spurrier."
Okay. Part of the thing with Crossed, part of the expectation is it's like one of the most brutal comics in the world, you know, and that's fine. But I have to say, it kind of bothers me a little bit when people come up to me at the stall and they're like, "Oh, dude, this is the most brutal thing in comics," and I think it probably is. But there's more to it than that. Yeah. Genuinely and truly, there's some serious thought that's gone into it. It's I like to think quite clever, the concept. But you have to itch that particular scratch. You have to give people exactly what they're expecting, and so you have to show them now and then the gory, gross stuff. I kind of didn't want to open the story with, something really revolting that wasn't also slightly funny.
Right.
And I know I'm kind of probably the only person in the world who thinks a guy raping a dolphin in the blowhole is actually funny, but I...
Clearly not the only person.
Well, the fact that you've been talking about it for the last 10 minutes since I arrived up here is kind of a sign that maybe I'm wrong about that. But
certainly.
It's good fun. The idea was that you make people look at it and they have a little smirk and then go, I'm kind of laughing at a guy abusing a marine cetacean, and it's but anyway, to get back to the fun stuff, in episode 3, so it's a story of these guys on an island. They're surviving. They think they've found paradise. It's not paradise. It's hopeless. They're not really surviving. They're just waiting to die. It's all very grim. And a boat floats past. Nobody in it. It's just a cow standing in it. It's like a really brutalized cow. It's bloody. It's slashed up. It's screaming. It's mooing out loud.
A cow screaming.
Yeah. You'd think that they don't, but they really do. I've researched screaming cows. Same way that I've researched.
I would love to just be a bird on your shoulder doing your research.
I just spend all day on YouTube looking at animals doing bad things. Yeah. The conversation we had last time, apropos, dolphins really do rape people quite regularly. There's quite a lot of.
For those of you just see our last year's interview if you want to know. Instead of that conversation.
I'm going to really become known as the dolphin rape guy.
Well, that was getting wanky. This is my career.
I'm going to continue with the wanky. We're going to stick with the wanky. It's not that wanky because the cow shits out a grenade and explodes. So it's all about when these funny things happen in this world, do you go and investigate them? Is it a trap? Is this food that we can take and eat, or is it a cow with a grenade up its arse?
It's a great point. So that would have been my first thought.
That's the subtext.
I'm sort of very versed. Do you have anything terrifying coming up that you want to...
Well, I don't want to spoil it, but
just maybe name what sort of animal we're looking at.
There's no more... there's nasty stuff. I think I've got the animals out of my system.
You go great!
I've shat my metaphorical grenade, yes.
Congratulations.
So no, it's the first series was all about setting up the main character. It's all a bit metafictional. He's kind of a version of how I would respond given this awful apocalyptic scenario. He's obviously not quite like me, but he is a cowardly, rotten little English bastard. You know, he's like, there's this great scene. He flashback all the way through. There's a scene where he's a writer. You know, it really is a metafictional nonsense. Without getting too Grant Morrison-y, I think. There's a scene where he's sitting in a coffee shop in Soho in London, writing, and it's just when the cross thing kicks off and all these monsters start running in. There's a guy gets, like, he's forced to fillet the latte steamer on a coffee machine. It's all good fun. Yeah, but I was sitting in that coffee shop writing that scene, describing my life, lucky little fucker sitting in nice pubs and coffee shops all day long, writing things. Oh, look at me, I'm such a traumatized writer. Scribbling this stuff about this poor guy as this nasty stuff's happening. It felt very odd. I completely forgot where we were going with that. Oh, I know.
I know, you've just been talking about all this crazy stuff.
So, first series was about setting him up. He lives on this island. The whole sort of ticking bomb all the way through is about they're about to send out a team to the mainland Scotland, to do a sortie, pick up some supplies and stuff. And the whole question is about whether or not he's going to go, whether he tries to cheat the system that allows him to go or not to go. And then, yes, season 2 starts with, it's not too much of a spoiler, obviously, that he's going to go on the fucking sortie, isn't he? So season 2 starts with him arriving on the mainland. They start collecting supplies, and it all goes horribly, horribly wrong. And it's all about his past. The flashbacks that we've been seeing all the way through come back to haunt him.
Oh, cool.
Now, when your stuff's collected, is it tough because you're focusing so much on doing something for the web? Because some people feel like things don't translate if it's shorter, but then put in a longer form.
It was a worry. I mean, we made certain decisions from the start. When Warren did Freak Angels, he stuck with the one-page format, and I found, actually it's worth saying he used it very cleverly a couple of times. Pages where the act of scrolling would reveal something as you scroll down the page.
Right.
That's very clever, and I tried to do that once or twice with Wish You Were Here. But I found with Freak Angels, it bugged me having to scroll. You know, it was like you lose the power to surprise people.
Right.
So the way we've done it is every print page is essentially 2 landscape half pages which appear as individual pages on the web, and it quickly meant that you could do unexpected stuff. Like you could do flashbacks that would, generally speaking, a flashback is something that's going to be given its whole page. We're trained to think that a page of comic is kind of a chapter in its own right. You shouldn't go mucking around with the narrative in the context of a page. With the 2-page thing, or the half-page thing, you can do that. You can muck around with it. And my worry was that when it was printed, that was going to read very strangely. I think, I haven't heard any complaints, and I think it works really well. I think that actually the eye... again, I'm getting wanky with the mechanics of comics, but
getting
wanky with SPURRIER. Part of the problem with comics in particular is that if you try and surprise somebody with something that happens in the last panel of a right-hand page, you know that they're very easily able to glance ahead. No surprise. That's particularly true when I've been writing the webcomic and there's all these little surprise panels and suddenly they're visible beside each other. I think when people read the print version, because it's very clearly delineated in halves, the eye compensates and doesn't jump ahead. And you start subconsciously reading it in half-page chunks. I think. I may be wrong about that, but I think it reads pretty well.
That's great. Let's talk X-Men Legacy.
Yep.
You're jumping on the book really soon, right?
Yeah, I think the first one's November.
Yeah.
I should probably be better armed with information, but I suck.
Fantastic. And so the focus here is Legion?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah. Actually, I just did a panel earlier on, and I've got in the habit of describing him as David Haller. That's his real name. And actually, one of the things that I write about is that he doesn't like being called Legion. He's just a kid, and he's like, why do these fucking idiots keep calling me Legion?
That's me.
And I said that. I didn't say that, obviously, to the panel of Marvel fans. I said it's a story about David Haller.
Yeah.
Nick Lowe, bless him, leaned over and said, also known as. And I went, oh yeah, Legion. And everyone went, hey, Legion. So it shows what I know. He's a really interesting character that's never really been given a canvas of his own. Whenever he's shown up in the past, with a few exceptions, he's kind of been a walking, talking plot point, where he rocks up, he's the supremely powerful, world-destroying, reality-changing mutant who can't control his own brain. And so when he rocks up in the past, it's usually been as a liability, a ticking time bomb, something that can't be controlled. So given the events of Avengers versus X-Men, did I get that right way around? X-Men? Yeah, AVX. I'm really hungover.
Buddy.
Given the events of, dolphin rape. Given the events of AVX, we wanted to use Legion as the central character because it's all about, is he going to assume his father's mantle now that Charles Xavier's dead? Sorry. Or is he going to go his own way? And it's just an opportunity to really define this character for the first time, give him his own story, send him out into the world. He's not really interacting a huge amount with the X-Men. I mean, they feature, they're rocking up all the time. We've got, I'm a bit of a geek for Chamber. You know Chamber?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, I'm kind of trying to...
tortured, just abused.
Yeah, and it's complete coincidence that he's a grumpy English arsehole.
Yeah, I was going to say, also wearing a lot of stripes.
Wearing a lot of stripes, with no chin.
Are you in costume as
actually, no, Dennis the Menace, but your Dennis the Menace is different than ours, isn't it? You've got the little blonde kid. We've got the sort of...
backwards hat.
Yeah, our one's like a little ridiculous... Doesn't matter, has nothing to do with anything that we're talking about. But David's a really interesting character.
Yeah.
Part of the problem was fixing... His thing has always been having multiple personalities.
Yeah.
Which in my opinion is a bit hokey. It can be done really stupid, you know.
Yeah.
So it was about finding a way of making that dramatic, visually exciting, creating stakes within his internal world as well as in the outside world.
Right.
It's kind of two stories in one. He's being beaten up by these things inside his own head and running around the world mostly being beaten up by the X-Men.
So is he on the run? You said he has Chamber perhaps with him a little bit, or any other X-Men that...
Yeah, they all rock up now and then. I mean, I'm only 4 episodes into the writing, but it's not quite on the run. The first 3 episodes, I don't want to give anything away, obviously, but it's more about him finding his place, and that's the focus. But we frequently cut away to the X-Men who were... Their experience of David in the past, of Legion in the past, is that he's caused enormous collateral damage.
Yeah.
You know, so they really don't want a world where this kid who, perfectly well-intentioned, he's not a bad person, but they know that he's a liability. He's waiting to explode. He can tear a new hole in reality if he loses his shit. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to go and try and get him, help him, but get him, you know? And he doesn't want to be got. So it's the story of him working out what he wants to do, working out how he feels about his father, working out how he feels about his father's legacy. And clever, see?
Yeah,
I did it too, man.
Very good. You guys both. Very.
And just making stuff explode along the way.
Awesome.
Lots of that.
Well, thanks so much, man, for stopping by. Really
guys, this has been Getting Wanky with Cy Spurrier. We're the co-hosts, Justin Tyler and Peter Page. Thanks so much for coming down.